Frankfurt Airport, July 18, 1994, 2:47 p.m. Police Sergeant Douglas Riemann boards the plane. "Mr. Gokal?" Abbas Qasimali Gokal looks up. His 3 years on the run in Pakistan are over. The immunity deal he negotiated was a lie. The world's biggest con artist has just been caught. But how did a shipping magnate with Rolls-Royces in 2 countries, a penthouse on Fifth Avenue, and a billion-dollar empire end up handcuffed on a plane in Frankfurt? The answer begins 18 years ago, with a friendship, and the $1.2 billion he stole from powerful people. London, 100 Leadenhall Street, early 1980s. The Bank of Credit and Commerce International occupies prestigious office space in the heart of London's financial district. Founded in 1972, BCCI has grown explosively, 400 branches in 78 countries. Assets exceeding $20 billion. Its founder, Aga Hassan Abedi, envisions a bank for the third world. A bank where a person's standing comes from connections, not credit scores. This philosophy attracts interesting clients: Gulf state sheikhs, Pakistani generals, Colombian cartels, the CIA moving money for Afghan operations, dictators needing secure havens, organizations requiring financial infrastructure. BCCI operates in bank secrecy jurisdictions: Luxembourg Incorporation, Cayman Islands subsidiaries, Geneva operations, deliberately structured to avoid centralized regulatory review. It's the perfect setup for what Abedi and his deputy CEO Suhail Naqvi are about to do. Because Abbas Gokal needs money. Not millions. Hundreds of millions. Eventually over $1 billion. And Abedi is going to give it to him. The problem? BCCI total capital is only $63 million. Prudent banking suggests lending no more than 10% of capital to any single borrower, about $6 million maximum. Abedi does not care about prudent banking. He cares about relationships, about loyalty, about the Pakistani business network that brought them both success, about keeping friends afloat no matter the cost. By the late 1970s, BCCI loans to the Gulf Group total $185 million, 3 times the bank's entire capital, 30 times the accepted lending ratio, and that is just the beginning. What Abbas and Abedi create over the next decade is elegant in its audacity, complex in execution, criminal in every particular. They call it the washing machine. Money flows in circles. BCCI to Gulf. Gulf back to BCCI. Loans generating interest. Interest generating profits. Profits justifying more loans. Except none of it is real. Here is how it works. Step 1. Create over 700 offshore companies. Shell corporations registered in Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, Panama, Liechtenstein. Each equipped with nominee shareholders, people who sign documents without knowing what they are signing. Lawyers in tax havens provide this service for a fee. False accounts showing fictitious transactions. Step 2. Channel money from BCCI through these companies to Gulf Group. Not direct loans, too obvious, but a labyrinth designed to obscure the trail. Money moves from BCCI Luxembourg to a Cayman company. Cayman to Panama. Panama to BVI. BVI to Geneva. Geneva finally to Gulf Group. Each step documented with false paperwork. Each transfer appearing legitimate alone. Only seeing the complete picture, which no single regulator can, reveals the fraud. Step 3. Gulf uses the money to pay creditors, fund operations, maintain vessels, finance expansions, and maintain a boss lifestyle. The ships keep sailing to Iran, conflict zones, ports paying premium rates, the empire stays afloat. Employees get paid, creditors receive just enough to stay quiet. The appearance of solvency is maintained. Step 4. Create false documentation showing Gulf is profitable and creditworthy. The document factory at 100 Leadenhall Street becomes crucial. Senior BCCI managers forge letters from Gulf showing strong cash flow. Fabricate guarantees. Manufacture minutes of board meetings that never happened. Create shipping manifests for cargo that does not exist. Build an alternative reality entirely on paper. Step 5. BCCI books massive profits from interest on these loans. This is the genius. Gulf cannot actually pay interest, it is insolvent. But BCCI creates false documentation showing interest payments. These phantom payments appear as profits on BCCI balance sheet. The bank looks increasingly successful. Auditors see growing revenues. More people deposit money. The bank's apparent success attracts more deposits, which provides more money to pump into Gulf, which generates more false profits. A perfect circular fraud. Step 6. When more money is needed, always needed because Gulf hemorrhages cash, pump more from BCCI into Gulf, create new offshore companies, generate new false documentation, keep the machine running. The fraud must keep growing because stopping means exposure. At BCCI London headquarters, senior managers operate what investigators will later call a document factory, churning out fake paperwork at industrial scale. Letters of credit, loan agreements, shipping manifests, bank guarantees, whatever Abbas needs to maintain the illusion of solvency. The managers running this have an internal code name, the Gulf Fraud Factory. They work from an office called Q, because it contains such rich supply of secret and incriminating evidence, like London Botanical Gardens, house rare plants. Suela Naqvi, BCCI CEO, personally oversees these files, keeps them locked, shares them with almost no one. Documentary evidence of every fraudulent transaction, every forged document, every billion-dollar lie spanning more than a decade. Between late 1970s and 1991, Abbas Gokal receives $1.2 billion from BCCI. BCCI total capital, $63 million. Abbas receives 19 times the bank's entire capital base. The money flows through French American Bank and Security Pacific Bank in New York, major American institutions unwittingly laundering fraud before reaching Geneva. $1.2 billion. When BCCI maximum safe lending to one client should be $6 million. 200 times prudent limits. All for a shipping company everyone knows is insolvent. Geneva, London, New York, Karachi, late 1980s. While the fraud operates, Abbas lives extraordinarily well. The Rolls-Royces get regular maintenance. The Fifth Avenue apartment hosts dinner parties for shipping executives. The Geneva house overlooks the lake. Private jets ferry him between continents. His family, wife Ruqayya, daughter Sukaina, want for nothing. He is known as intensely family-oriented. Even the judge who will later sentence him notes this. He put his family above everything, the judge will say. Abbas hosts receptions at the World Economic Forum in Davos, mingles with global elites, projects the image of a successful Pakistani businessman who built an international empire through hard work and acumen. Nobody questions where the money comes from. The shipping business, obviously, the diversified holdings, the global reach of Gulf Group. His brother Mustafa serves as financial advisor to Pakistan General Zia, later to Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran. The Gokals move in the highest circles of Islamic finance and third world politics. Gulf Group ships cargo to Iran throughout the Iran-Iraq War. Ships weapons, ships oil, ships whatever needs shipping when other companies refuse. Premium rates, excellent profits. On paper, there are whispers, never proven, always denied, about other cargo. Nuclear technology components. Procurement services for Pakistan atomic weapons program. Transport for a secret consortium between Libya, Pakistan, and Argentina seeking to assemble nukes. The Guardian newspaper reports it in 1991. BCCI bankrolled it. Gulf Group transported it. Abbas Gokal enabled it. Nothing is ever proven, but the whispers persist. Meanwhile, BCCI depositors keep putting money in. Public bodies, local councils, individual savers, small businesses, people who trust the bank, who believe the audited accounts, who have no idea the seventh largest private bank in the world is running a massive fraud. Western Isles Council in Scotland deposits £24 million. Westminster City Council, £3.5 million. Harlow Council in Essex, £4.5 million. Thousands of individual depositors trust their savings to BCCI. The Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, BCCI largest shareholder, has hundreds of millions invested. They all think their money is safe. They all believe BCCI is legitimate. They are all wrong. February 1978, U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency issues a confidential report. The report identifies serious problems. BCCI has no internal maximum lending limit, no policies preventing excessive concentration, loan quality deteriorating rapidly. In just over a year, questionable loans soared from $27 million to $226 million. The Gulf Group accounts for most of it, $122.5 million categorized as substandard. BCCI lending to Gulf is 3 times total bank capital. The ratio should never exceed 0.3 times. BCCI is at 3 times, 10 times over safe limits. The report should trigger action, investigation, regulatory intervention, criminal referrals. Nothing happens. Why? Because BCCI operates across multiple jurisdictions. No single regulator sees the complete picture. Luxembourg incorporation, London headquarters, Cayman Islands subsidiaries, Geneva operations, Abu Dhabi financing. Bank secrecy laws prevent information sharing. Regulators in one country cannot access records from another. The structure, deliberately designed by Abidi, exploits every gap in international banking supervision. The Bank of England licenses BCCI to operate in the UK in 1980. Later, this will be called a catastrophic mistake, but at the time, BCCI looks legitimate, growing, profitable, serving developing world clients that British banks ignore. Through the 1980s, more warning signs emerge. U.S. Senate subcommittee investigates BCCI for money laundering. Links surface to Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega, Colombian cartels, the Abu Nidal terrorist organization. The CIA admits, quietly, in August 1991, that it used BCCI as a way to move money for covert operations. Federal agent Robert Mazur goes undercover in Operation Sea Chase, infiltrates the Medellin cartel, uses that to penetrate BCCI private client division, discovers how BCCI manipulates international finance systems to launder money for drug lords, tax cheats, corrupt politicians. In 1988, Mazur creates a fake wedding in Tampa, Florida, invites BCCI executives and dealers he befriended undercover. It is actually a dramatic takedown operation. Over 80 people charged worldwide. BCCI pleads guilty to money laundering, pays $14.8 million fine. Still, the bank keeps operating. The fraud continues. Abbas keeps receiving money. The machine keeps washing billions through offshore accounts. March 1990. Price Waterhouse, one of BCCI auditors, alleges that transactions in the 1989 accounts are false or deceitful. Suela Nakvi resigns as CEO. Abedi, who suffered a heart attack earlier, severs ties with the bank. Both know what is coming. March 1991. Bank of England orders a full investigation by Price Waterhouse. The investigation finds evidence of massive and widespread fraud. The Bank of England announces BCCI might never have been profitable. The entire operation, 400 branches, 78 countries, $20 billion in assets, built on lies. July 5, 1991, Friday, 1:15 p.m. A consortium of central banks, Federal Reserve, Bank of England, Luxembourg Monetary Institute, coordinates simultaneous action across 7 countries. Customs and bank regulators raid BCCI offices, seize records, lock doors. The Bank of Credit and Commerce International is shut down. Liabilities, $14 billion, later revised to $10 billion. Greatest banking fraud in history. 6,500 depositors lose their money. Western Isles Council. £24 million gone. Westminster. £3.5 million. Harlow. £4.5 million. The Sheikh of Abu Dhabi. £312 million evaporated. Individual savers lose life savings. Small businesses collapse. New York District Attorney Robert Morgenthau calls it the largest bank fraud in world financial history. And the investigation turns to Abbas Gokal. July 1991. Swiss police raid Gulf Group headquarters in Geneva. They arrive planning to arrest Abbas Gokal and his brothers. Seize records. Freeze assets. They are too late. Hours before the raid, Abbas, Mustafa, Murtaza, and their right-hand man Shavir Bairamji board a private jet to Karachi. Pakistan has no extradition treaty with Britain. Once there, Abbas is safe, untouchable, beyond the reach of British prosecutors, Bank of England officials. serious fraud office investigators. He settles into Karachi, comfortable, protected. His brother Mustafa, connections to Pakistan government, advisor to General Zia, ensure no local authorities interfere. The SFO in London begins investigating. September 1992. They know Abbas is the key, the biggest single borrower, the man who received $1.2 billion, the center of the fraud that destroyed BCCI. But how do you prosecute someone in a country that will not extradite him? The investigators work methodically. They send teams to every continent, gather evidence from 80 countries, interview hundreds of witnesses, follow money through 700 offshore companies, decode the labyrinth of false documentation. In London, they discover the document factory, the fake letters, forged guarantees, fabricated meeting minutes, everything Abbas used to get loans. In Abu Dhabi, authorities seal BCCI headquarters, detain 14 senior managers, discover the NACV files, secret records documenting the entire fraud, code names, like flowers, birds, plants, assigned to individuals and corporations. The complete criminal conspiracy laid bare. In the Cayman Islands, investigators find banking records, more documentation, more evidence of loans cycling through offshore companies. The washing machine blueprints. Throughout 1993 and early 1994, the case comes together. Overwhelming evidence, unquestionable documentation, a clear criminal conspiracy. One problem: the defendant is in Pakistan, safe, protected, seemingly unreachable. But then, in July 1994, the Serious Fraud Office gets astonishing news. Abbas Gokal is about to leave Pakistan. He is flying to New York, voluntarily. July 14, 1994, City of London police receive intelligence. Abbas Gokal plans to fly from Karachi to New York. He has arranged a deal with Manhattan District Attorney Office. He'll provide information about U.S. nationals involved in nuclear technology procurement. In exchange, immunity from prosecution in the U.S. and pressure on the British to drop charges. Gokal thinks he is cutting a deal, trading information for freedom, becoming a witness instead of a defendant. He is wrong. 5 days before the scheduled flight, Manhattan DA office telephones Detective Sergeant Douglas Riemann at the SFO. Gokal is flying to New York. Any questions you want us to ask him? Riemann gives a hurried no, gets off the phone, alerts his superiors immediately. Within 24 hours, the SFO secures an arrest warrant, contacts German police, makes arrangements. Gokal flight from Karachi to New York requires refueling. At Frankfurt Airport, on German soil, where German police have jurisdiction, where extradition to Britain is possible. Monday, July 18, 1994, the plane lands in Frankfurt. German authorities announce security concerns, request all passengers disembark for inspection. Passengers exit, German police enter the aircraft. In first class, still seated, trying to look inconspicuous, Abbas Gokal and his wife Ruqayya. He knows. The moment he sees the police, he knows. The trap is sprung. Mr. Gokal, Detective Sergeant Riemann, who flew to Frankfurt for this moment, stands in the aisle. Abbas is arrested, taken to German prison to await extradition. After 3 years of safety in Pakistan, after believing himself untouchable, after thinking he could trade information for immunity, he is in custody. The SFO has their man. Old Bailey, London, September 1996. Abbas Gokal, 61 years old, sitting quietly. He looks like a prosperous accountant, facing technical charges. But this is the biggest fraud trial in British history. The trial lasts 122 days. Cost, £10 million. Funded entirely by British taxpayers, through the Legal Aid Board, because Abbas claims he is penniless, despite having received $1.2 billion from BCCI. This enrages Keith Vaz MP, chairman of the BCCI Victims Campaign Committee. The victims of BCCI will want to know why someone as wealthy as this could get legal aid. But Abbas Gokal only laughs in response. Old Bailey, May 8, 1997. Sentencing. Sentence: 14 years in prison. Longest fraud sentence in British history at that time. Additional, £2.94 million confiscation from personal assets, to be paid within 2 years, or face 3 more years, Abbas is taken to Whitemoor Prison, high-security facility in Cambridgeshire. 1999, appeals sentence, loses. 2003, released by Home Office, served only 9 years of 14-year sentence, never met the terms of his fine, yet released anyway. He moves to West London, Ealing, lives quietly with Ruqayya, his daughter Sukaina, works in ship management, his brothers remain in Pakistan, safe from extradition, and somewhere in West London, Abbas Gokal carries the answer to a question investigators could never fully resolve. Where did all the money go?